Hi, my name is Amy Dwiggins, and 10 days ago I started losing function of my arms. They went very flaccid and weak, and then went very spastic. I've had to go through not being able to move anything below my neck, basically paralyzed like a quadriplegic, depending on everyone to do everything for me. I went through contractures in my arms where my hands were across my chest, clenched fists, shaking for close to 10 hours until the doctors could give me something to make the tremors stop, and then the therapist to be able to work out the limbs so that they would lay straight. It took multiple people with very strong arms and will to break loose the tightness I had in my body. All I can describe it as is like a rigor mortis. But after a couple of days, the weekend you don't really get therapy that much. I was over at Hendrix, and then Wade did all of my therapy, my husband, straightening out my arms, pushing my fingers down, making sure my muscles were trying to release and be soft, and then he would move to the other arm and do the same thing, and it took a lot of force to do that, lots of strength, to the effect that I could probably arm wrestle a really strong person. That in itself is kind of comical, but then he would go to each leg, but by the time he finished my last leg, he had to start all over again. What I was diagnosed with was dystonia, not something common that I was aware of, being that neuro was not my specialty. But I was met with some more therapists while at Hendrix. One was Leanne, Mindy, and Mark. Leanne was my occupational therapist, and she also works for Encompass Health Rehab Hospital in Abilene, where my husband and I both work. But they were able to, through their red faces and grunts and sweating, able to help release and break up some of the tendons and the tightness in all of my limbs, and tried to help me to stand on a table that was called a tilt table. After that, then I went to, they started giving me medicine, Valium, and increasing the Valium to 10 milligrams 3 times a day. That was starting to really work, and I was starting to be able to wiggle a toe here and there, and maybe my fingers a little bit. But other than that, I was still having to be fed on a bedpan, not being able to do anything for myself except for being able to turn my head and lift my shoulders a little bit. Everything else was very greatly affected, and from that point we were approved and moved over to Encompass Health Rehab in Abilene, and the therapist began working independently with physical therapy, occupational therapy, and actually doubling up on the physical therapy one day and then doubling up on the occupational therapy. It took a lot. I used special utensils. Here it is, day 10, and I am now able to sit in a wheelchair and to try to feed myself with some special utensils that are kind of fat. I've lost the ability to try to write. I can't walk, so those are things that now I'm learning to do. little by little. I'm getting stronger each day, and I just want everyone to know that prayer is very essential in healing. I had my therapist that prayed for me at Hendricks. I had my EMT or paramedic that dropped me off at Encompass Health Rehab. He prayed for me before he took me out of the ambulance. I've had my therapist here praying for me, my husband praying for me, my church members, my nursing staff, my coworkers, just so many churches, my family, their church that they go to. So I truly believe that the only reason why I can even lift my legs and my arms now is a miracle and an act of God, and that He put me in the path of some very beautiful people with loving hearts and very great knowledge and wisdom on how to help me, and that have seen this before in one way or another and saw what worked. So we are going to continue, and I'm going to try to keep trying to write my name. I have a piece of paper that I can show you on how I write my name, and this is what it looks like. And anyone that knows me knows that does not look like my name. And but I'm trying. This is like a little kid's book that when you're in kindergarten and you're learning to write different letters and shapes. So this is what I started with a pen that has different like a fat squishy thing to help me hang on to. But these are the things that I had to write. The top rows and the top 3 rows were examples that my therapist put on there, and the bottom ones were the ones that I did. So anyone that goes through dystonia, don't think that there is no way out and that you can't heal, because I am daily healing, and I am praising God through every part of this affliction, and that I know that through Him that I will get better, and I will keep you posted. Thank you for your prayers. I love you. See you then.